Hey, welcome back. So today I kind of wanted to change things around where my webcam is, quite a big, larger. Quite a big larger? Does that even make sense? Well, it is larger as you can tell. And then on the side here, I think in this angle direction, I put like the old overlay with some info in text, basically what this video is about. But that way I wanted to make it a bit more personal so people can actually see again the person behind the channel. Now, I was away for a little while, I know, because I had to really think about how I want to go on with this channel and stuff like that, but I guess it was mostly inside my own head, and it has to do exactly with the subject that I want to talk about, because it's so important that we grasp this. Because the better we grasp it, well, the better off we'll be. That's just how it is with this kind of information. So today I want to talk about the concept of thinking in a certain way and acting in a certain way. Now, these terms were phrased by Wallace Wattles in his book, The Science of Getting Rich. And basically, we have to learn to think in a certain way and then to act in a certain way. But there is a specific mental faculty that comes into play that ties these two, abilities together. So there's one faculty that we need to understand in order to really think in a certain way and then to act in a certain way. You know what it is? It's called willpower. That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Willpower. But you can change the term around, I would say, into discipline. So here we can have this wonderful dream in our consciousness. That's what we think. Thinking in a certain way means to think about what you want, where you want to go. And then we must learn to act in a certain way, which means to act upon the dream. To act according to this dream that we have so that it can manifest, so that it can become expressed in our world. Well, in order to do that, we need the discipline to stick to it. And you see, that's what went kind of wrong with me over the last few months. I mean, for some reason, I wasn't feeling as excited about what I was doing. And then it spiraled a bit more out of control to the point where I almost thought maybe I should just quit and let it be what it is by now. To let the videos up and never come back. But I realized that's not really what I want to do either. So what happened? Well, what personally happened to me was that I kind of stopped thinking in that certain way, right? So as weird as it seems, I might still be acting in a certain way, sort of according to the dream, but then the dream became more and more vague in my consciousness, and then less exciting, less passion, less enthusiasm about really acting on it consistently. So this whole concept of thinking in a certain way, I would say, means that you have to keep, on a daily basis, you have to keep thinking clearly about all the beautiful things that would occur if your dream were now reality. So in my case, I can think of all the wonderful things that could actually happen to me personally in my world if I were to reach hundreds of thousands of people through YouTube. And I'm still physically apparently pretty far away from that point, but I can still think like that. And as long as I do that, I remain motivated and excited, and I feel this renewed passion to keep going in my life. So thinking in a certain way and acting in a certain way is very important. But then if you lack the discipline, what's going to happen is that you first start to think about your dream, and then you're like, okay, I should act on it. You act on the dream for a little bit, and then for whatever reason you kind of start slacking. That is only a sign that you have currently not developed enough discipline to stick to that dream. If you know for sure that this is a dream that you want to realize, then all you need is that discipline. How do you develop that discipline? Well, you do that through practice. It's something you practice daily, over and over and over again, until it really starts to become habitual for you to act on your dream and to think of that dream. So initially your mind is perhaps not trained to really think of all the wonderful things that could occur if your dream were now reality. But that's exactly how you should start out. That is the foundation of it all. Most people don't want to do that because they think it's silly. But over here we know the power of consciousness, and we know it's important in order to get that motivation, that flame of desire to awaken within yourself that will get you to go, to start moving in the direction of where you want to end up. So thinking in a certain way and acting in a certain way, Wallace Wattles also wrote it in a nice paragraph. I'm grabbing his book here, The Science of Getting Rich. Remember, it's a book worth reading for the rest of your life, which I actually have been doing, but again, I'll be honest, in the last 2 months, I kind of slacked on that as well, and then really quickly you start to kind of slack on everything if you don't watch out. I've noticed, at least in my life, I have to kind of keep reminding myself as well, consistently, about these wonderful ideas. But here's this paragraph, right? In one of the chapters on how to use the will, he said, when you know what to think and do, then you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. That is the legitimate use of the will in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course. Use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in a certain way. Now, let's change that word will out and simply turn it into the word discipline. Now read it again. When you know what to think and do, then you must discipline yourself to compel yourself to think and do the right things. That is the legitimate use of self-discipline in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course. Use discipline to keep yourself thinking and acting in a certain way. Now you might be wondering why would we even change this word around? Well, willpower, to be honest, always kind of also sounds like you're going to be going at it with like a lot of force and like a lot of crazy, intensity that is not even really needed. All you need is discipline. If you're disciplined enough to keep yourself focused in this manner on your dreams through thought, feeling, and actions. If you have that discipline, well then you'll start growing in the direction of what you want. Stuff starts to happen. You'll keep being inspired, motivated along the way, and you'll keep growing in that direction automatically. So that's why I think it's more fun to use the word discipline. That's also what I learned from my mentor Bob Proctor years ago back in the day. He would also say, discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. So we take our dream that we have thought about through thinking in a certain way, then we discipline ourselves to actually act upon that thought, upon those ideas that we develop inside consciousness. So this way this video is set up right now, it's a simple little change with the camera, right? And I know I should probably get a better camera. I'll be honest, it's not the greatest quality right now. But again, through discipline, the idea came, and then through my own discipline, I'm going to act on it, which I'm doing now. I could also be like, well, it's a nice idea, never act on it. That's what sadly happens for most people, because they don't believe enough in themselves. But if you do have that discipline, then okay, all I have to do is just keep consistently acting on the ideas that develop inside my consciousness. Because then the thinking and acting have come together through that one power called discipline. That's what ties them together. And I think that's very useful to keep that constantly in mind, to keep reminding yourself of this every time you want to achieve something. Because whenever you lose track of that, things can get pretty chaotic and hard again. Not because they need to be difficult, but more like because if we lose the discipline to stay focused on our dreams, where are we going to go, right? We're surrounded by so much negativity and so much weird-ass ideas from the news and society and people around us. They might spew all these negative, toxic things at us about limitation, lack, and problems. And then if you're not disciplined within yourself towards your own dreams, well then you're going to allow these ideas to infect you if you don't watch out. And that then means that you're not going in a great direction at all anymore. That's why we need that discipline to keep thinking and acting in a certain way. And once you do that, your life will forever keep improving. And that's what it's all about. And yes, that's what I'll be doing as well. From now on, I'll just make the videos like I'm doing now. Just show my face. Because with all these visuals that I used to do, it takes so many hours at times. Like, I don't want to complain too much, but sometimes I spent 5 or 6 hours putting them together. Then I realized, it's not like I'm getting paid insane amounts of money for this, and having to spend that much time in a day for not even getting paid that much as well, it feels ridiculous. Now I know if my audience keeps growing, well, perhaps I'll keep doing it more often by then, but I kind of also wanted to find a flow that makes it easier for me to put out these videos more consistently, while also, kind of conveying myself more than through the videos, I suppose. Because I sometimes wonder, is narrations a little too boring if people just only listen to me? I know sometimes people are okay with just seeing the YouTuber like you see me now talking, in front of the camera like that. That feels better to me as well. And that still means I can do it way more consistently without having to stress out so much. Because I also want to run a few other YouTube channels. So I realize this is almost crazy. I would either have to hire an entire team around me that will help me put together videos with a lot of visuals. But in order to do that, I would have to be way more wealthy as well. I mean, let's be honest. I probably need around like 1 million subscribers or more before I can afford such a thing like that. But for now, we just want to find a flow that keeps us consistent. And this is one of them. So keep in mind, it's about thinking and acting in a certain way. And in order to think and act in a certain way, you need that discipline to stay focused. That's all. And as more you train this every day to stay just focused on your dream, on where you want to go, and then also to act on the ideas, the stronger your discipline becomes. And then, well, the more your life starts to shift in a greater direction, in the direction of what you always wanted, in the direction of your own dreams. Now, with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.